What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. And on this video, we're going to talk a lot about social and cultural dynamics, what we're seeing here with the cancel culture craze, and it's diabolical what we're seeing, and I want to point it out a little bit. Now, you guys know I'm an avid bookworm. I am constantly reading. If you are not a bookworm, I suggest you learn how to become one. In a book entitled Social and Cultural Dynamics, The Fluctuation of Systems of Truth and Ethics, I want to read something out of that for you guys. Now, it says here in this book by Sorokin, according to Satanism, it is perfectly right and proper to encourage moral turpitude in all classes of society and at all levels of government by convincing the public that abnormal sexual behavior is normal, and that the moral code accepted by civilized nations based on the commandments of God and teachings of the Holy Scriptures is old-fashioned and introduced by church and state for selfish purposes. But behind the building up of a wrong conception of sex and its purposes as intended by God our Creator is the satanic principle that the best revolutionary is a youth absolutely devoid of morals. And we're going to get into that today. There's a lot of other literature and texts that you guys can get into about this. I have the book right here in front of me. If you are interested in any of the books that I read, I try to make sure that I list every single text that I own or have read on my website, although I haven't uploaded everything yet, and I will get links, but right now I only have pictures. With that being said, I want to talk about what's going on with cancel culture. Okay, if you haven't heard of it, I got the Urban Dictionary, because that counts as a dictionary, right? The Urban Dictionary definition of what cancel culture is. Right here it says, cancel culture is a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, whether it be online, social media, or in person. Those who are subject to the ostracism are said to have been canceled. So we're seeing this a lot. I'm going to be very careful with the words that I use because this should be a Patreon video, although I am putting this on my main channel. For those of you who are not supporting me on Patreon, please consider doing so for my work because I have been banned, censored, and suppressed for the things that I'm saying and for what I am sharing and the knowledge that I am giving to you guys. With that being said, let's talk about some of the atrocities of what is in this cancel culture and why. Cancel culture, I believe, can also be synonymous with politically correctness, the correctness in speech, the censorship of speech. In 2 Corinthians 3:12, we are taught by Jesus to speak with a great plainness of speech. In other words, it is imperative to be blunt. Don't get that confused, of course, with adding your passionate facial expressions and or tones and attitudes, but to be gentle and honest, therefore speaking with plainness and blunt language. Something that we are condemning people today for doing such things, and it is causing quite the commotion among society, wouldn't you say? So one of the first things that was in cancel culture that people were outraged by was the classic toy that's been in circulation for approximately 70 years now, Mr. Potato Head. Right here it says the company, which has been making these potato-shaped plastic toys, announced on Thursday that they will be dropping the Mr. from the brand, although now I am also hearing that they are not doing that because if you guys didn't know, I've had them when I was a child. There is also a Mrs. Potato Head, so it's just, they dropped the Mr. in front of it because they wanted to create a gender-neutral toy. We also see that Dr. Seuss is a massive target in this cancel culture controversy. Try saying that 3 times fast. I had to re-record over this video because I couldn't say it. I kept saying cancer culture, which is, sorry about that. Anyway, I got a kick out of some of the verbiage used in this article. As you can see on the highlighted articles here, it portrays people in a way that is hurtful and wrong. The problem is that everybody in Dr. Seuss's illustrations looks ridiculous. There is such a wealth of children's literature today that celebrates the diverse experiences of children and their families that don't confront children with racist images that could be hurtful and traumatizing. And moving on, we're getting rid of some popular food brand products like Uncle Ben's rice or Aunt Jemima's Mrs. Butterworth's syrup, and of course my personal favorite, Pepe Le Pew. The skunk is out because he is taking women who don't want to be taken. Okay, again, I'm very careful of my verbiage here. Feel free to Google that if you're not sure why they're taking out Pepe Le Pew, but it is absurd. Now, the reason why I'm getting at this and why I'm kind of making light of these particular targets in this cancel culture controversy is because I'm confused why we are so tunnel visioned on these particular items and these particular characters and toys and whatever, what have you, and we're not concerned about I don't know, maybe this stuff. Let's take a look at just a few things. Again, the world is a very wicked place, and this is just a few things that we're accepting blindly. You guys know I have a whole bunch of videos similar to this and exposing and dissecting music videos and, the Super Bowl, all types of things, and this is not on cancel culture at all. In fact, it seems as though no one has a problem with this. So the first thing that I want to point out, something that was brought to my attention, was this new Lil Nas music video where he is depicted as enacting the Garden of Eden, and then he slides down on a stripper pole into hell. Again, this is a man sliding down on a stripper pole into hell wearing high heel black leather boots, giving the devil a lap dance and twerking on him. That's not in cancel culture. Next up, we have WAP. That's all I'm going to say. And thirdly, another thing that I want to point out is the over-sexualization, especially on this new social media platform called TikTok. And this article that I saw that is just very fitting. Why these TikTok dances, if you guys don't know what TikTok is, it's very common for both male and females to dance to these little songs and over-sexualizing themselves. And a lot of those videos actually do end up on Pornhub. Now, I have been saying this for years and years and years, but the over-sexualization and desensitizing the public of over-sexualization as well as violence is astronomical, and it's ever increasing. And people are getting so brainwashed and blind. And instead of raising women up, for example, to high levels of morality and virtue, once practiced by women who patterned their behavior on that of the Mother of Jesus Christ, the world has introduced modernism, which dragged women down to the level of males, and they call this women's suffrage. The purpose was stated to be free women from slavery of body, mind, and soul. We get the feminism, we get the do you sis and women's independence. Behind the window dressing of this intention is to brainwash women into a pattern of behaviors which will cause men to withdraw their respect and kill all chivalry. Now, I read this little passage out of chapter 10 on page 114 of Satan, the Prince of this World. Netflix movies and movies in general that are overly sexualized, overly violent, just polluting your brain, desensitizing you, making you think that these ways of acting, these ways of talking, these ways of behaving and or not behaving, having absolutely no moral compass or knowledge, and moral compass only comes from God. There is literally no other way to measure it. You can't say, well, I measure it off life experiences or I measure it off of being a good person. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any literal sense. Over here in Ephesians 4:18, we have having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their hearts. The Bible talks a lot about this and how the ignorance of people and how blind they are and how it is just ever increasing today. And it's heartbreaking, it's terrifying, it's appalling, and it's very upsetting. So the fact that this is just so backwards. So again, feel free to support me on Patreon, share this video because I am banned off social medias and suppressed here on this channel. So feel free to share it with family and friends. Thank you so much for watching.